Do you indulge in any form of worship?
Life. I love life very much indeed.
Stay chest that I can't describe. It takes me down and leaves me there. When I talk to the night, I can feel it stare. It creeps inside, it meets me there. At least I'm alive. At least I'm alive. Believe me, believe me, believe me, believe me. Ooh. highest love. You're a shoulder for my head. Keep me on, keep me lingering on your breath. Highest love. You're an ocean for my head. Hold me strong. I've been rising with your breath. Highest love. Highest love. Highest love. I can't stand to lose. It's your carousel life. Spin me back to life. If I only knew what could get us through, I would walk out alive. Even if something inside me dies, you gotta trust me when I tell you there's no good way out. Even if I wish there was, you gotta trust me when I tell you there's no good way out. Even if I wish there was, 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 even if I wish there
vastu pilgestab imedat kaske, 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 kaske. kus me läheme, astu ööda kaske, kaske, vastu ööda, astu päeva kaske, kaske, vastu pilgestab imedat kaske, 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 kaske. Kaske,
Cheers to Monday and a new quarter, retail trading team. It's the best day of the week. This is Mastro coming to you live from Puppet Show Central, and we're going to jump right into our routine briefing. So real quick, just to jump in the chat here, hello Mr. Dig Dug. I am grateful to you for checking out that Substack, and hopefully this briefing will answer your question here a little bit. I like to keep it simple. That is the only way that I can understand things. So we're going to go over everything in our normal order, and please feel free to just talk in the chat here, ask any specific questions, and we're going to have just a great time here. So we're going to jump first into that warm-up document, which anyone can access in the description of this video, and that kind of has my major metrics for each day and what I'm looking at to kind of inform my assumption for each trading day. And you can also see along the bottom there some of the different little trading systems I have going on. If you are unfamiliar, I would take a look at Barb. Faye and is kind of on the back burner for me right now because what I'm doing is combining Faye and Barb into what I call Fabio. All of these have very lovely acronyms, Fabio standing for Faye and Barb in one, Faye itself being Fate at Edges, and Barb being Brains and Robots. So this is what I do with my free time. I name inanimate objects and go into the lovely world of backtesting to see if we can't give them some type of money-making value. So for you, Dig Dug, as well, you can pop in here. There's a link to my various strategy documents as well. Maybe. Yeah, there you go. So you just highlight this field and you can kind of see what I got going on there. What I'm going to add, I guess, to this document somewhere, I just realized I don't have it anywhere, is this document here. So let's go ahead and add it since we're hanging out. This is kind of my day trading strategies that I am currently employing. Barb is kind of, like I said, that bot type system there, so I don't think it's really too helpful for your average trader because it's very automatic, and it looks pretty good so far. But personally, for my live system, I do Ernie, I do trade this Fabio type system. I'm still kind of working on it, so this is just kind of what you can see. The results looking really good. So the issue with Barb, I won't bloviate on this too long, but we have a new viewer, so I like to take advantage of that whenever that happens. So just real quick, you can see, like, yeah, it looks like a really nice P&L, but when you see that drawdown, that percent winners, and if you go through this, you'll see that a lot of these days, really most of the money comes from very specific days. You don't always know when they're going to happen, and a lot of the other time is just kind of spent losing. So it's not fun. That's why it's being built into a bot. Whereas if you look at what's going on with Fabio here, I got to check these results. Seems a little too good to be true for now. So, but so far, again, I've done January a few times. I just think January is an anomaly, super good month for the system. As I go into February, it's not more normalizing yet. I've only gotten to the second because I am live trading all this. But yeah, this one's a little more interesting. And again, you can see that in that routine day trading folder. And whether or not you're interested in actually trading anything, obviously it's not trading advice. You know the various disclaimers. You can just kind of get some cool statistics. And I think for anybody, this kind of devise a plan system for like 0DT and anything is a super good template. So I'm going to add that to the document. I'm not sure where. I just don't want to do it right now because I don't know exactly where, like I said, and I don't want to waste any more of your time. So let's jump right into the warm-up and see what we got going on here. So interesting open, actually. And when I did my cheers, I didn't take a sip of coffee. So excuse me for a second. It's the only way to make it work. You got to take at least a small sip. Good morning, Mr. Dale. Flying at 41.25 and short the 40.85 puts. Looking good so far. One would think we don't have another large rail at the end of the day, but we'll see. And we'll look at our little tools here and see if we don't get any help on that front. So yeah, so overnight inventory was down. It's actually 100% net short. They just filled the gap. If it wasn't at that 9:30 bell, it was shortly before. So they did take out that gap. You saw the squeeze and obviously sustained momentum because we are in a insanely strong uptrend right now. I can't even get mad about it because it's super interesting, super rare tape. It's just kind of been straight up since that high a couple Fridays ago. and you just kind of saw that continuation today. In fact, we saw for that open itself, look at this, an open drive, a bullish open drive. You do not see too many of those open drives at all. So it's really interesting that this came after several straight days of going up. So if you want to read exactly what that means, you can go ahead and click here. Anything that has this like blue hyperlink font is a link, so you can kind of see where I'm getting stuff from, and again, use it to your own advantage. And this first 30, if you click on that, you can read about just how strong an open drive is. So yeah, really sustained momentum by the bulls going into Monday here. Nothing looking bearish quite yet. So for me, I'm not going to be taking any breakout slash momentum trade today. Although I did get a signal at 52. I'm not taking those today. Like I said, this is extraordinary tape, and although we may keep breaking out, I think that the risk reward does favor well timed and strictly risk managed, if that's the correct grammar, shorts. So looking at our TPO, if we're looking at our TPO, I'm going to go ahead and put in today's IBR. So from a low of, let's say, 32 into the 1030 high here at about 58. So we're going to say that is about a round to 25 point IBR. So it is getting a little wider again. No complaints from me. I'm really happy to kind of see us expanding that range a little bit. So we're getting a pullback as we speak. We'll see if that follows through. I will take that short if it does play out here. So I'll be watching this chart at 1040 to see if we do make that lower low in the 10-minute, and then we'll get some live trading going here in the middle of the briefing. So anyway, that's what I got on this warm-up document, just kind of touching on the TPO. It is showing trend. I think that's going to change throughout the day, and I will update this as the day goes on. But as we started the morning, you did have that trendy look. And you can see, again, Dig Dug, if you're still hanging on there, this little SPX expected move block I think is pretty useful for kind of knowing where and when we are extended and kind of those high probability zones to fade the various moves if you're into that type of thing. So you can see right now, perfect example where we're getting rejected here. Obviously that's psychologically important, 50 to 60 area. That's also near the top of our expected move zone on the day. And finally, these are just our levels. Barb levels are in bold. The bold levels don't mean they're more important than others. I just do that so I can differentiate as I go through and test throughout the day. So that's our major levels. Like I said, this is a dynamic document, so as it changes throughout the day, I will make updates to that as well. So we're getting a nice little pullback here. We should slow down so I can get a nice entry when this 40 candle prints and we make that lower low. So again, out of the corner of my eye, if I just stop talking, I'm executing on that. So moving from the warm-up, we're going to jump into what's going on the macro look. Okay, so macro. I'm actually going to move this up a little bit because we penetrated deeper into that potential supply zone there. You can see we pierced the top of this rising channel. So this has been one of those textbook rising channels. You might even see an inverse head and shoulder in there around here. And really this huge move began with that breakout, that gap above the downward sloping trend line. And you just saw another gap fall through there. And this one we actually took out on Friday, so we can get rid of that. Oops. And that's kind of the look we have. So we're running into, which is why, I mean, shoot, this is about a 10-minute candle here. We're running into what is very serious supply at this point. There's been tentative levels of supply as we've kind of moved up here, but now we're dealing with the big boys. The top of that channel, the bottom of that significant supply zone, and the bulls are going to have to contend with, I think, some real resistance going forward here. So that's really it on the macro. Just kind of pay attention to how that channel behaves. This is the bottom, remember, of that low from October 13th. And so this is a really important trend line, and I think why we're finally seeing a little bit of a pullback here. Let me check the distance to POC. I'm going to switch to this real quick to the execution chart. Let's see how far we have between this low, so 46 POC, down to about 41, just enough. Not the highest quality trade, but I am going to get involved here if they give us that look. So personally, I'd actually like to see a bit of a push back up again now. That's almost half the IBR, that candle itself. So if not half, like I said, we'll take it, but I think it's a low probability trade. Low being 46.75, so we're waiting for that for 46.50 to trade. As we see that 46.50 hitting the button, and then we'll pop back to that briefing. Give this plenty of space, wide stops. When we get that trigger, put the DOM on here just so I can see what's going on. Stand by. If we get about 3 points of retrace or something like that, I'll just go back to the briefing and keep this going on the side, but we are pretty close here, so I want to make sure I don't miss it if we get it there. And for 46.50. I am, at least. Make sure that POC doesn't flip up. There you go. So we're in it, hopefully to win it. I'm just going to put a stop right at the top there. 58. But I give it a couple ticks, so 58.25. The other one, somewhere thereabouts. And we'll let that rip for first target here. I'm going to watch what happens, so ideally we'll get that like about 7 points in a tick, but I will watch what happens at this POC here out of the corner of my eye. So we're in it, fading that open drive. Like I said, I don't think this is the highest quality trade. It is a mechanical entry in the sense that we did pierce, we made an extreme higher end of value. We seem to reclaim that 50 area on the bear side, and we're just far enough away from the POC for me to qualify that entry. Again, all right, I'm going to go back to our briefing screen as that works. Hopefully we don't get stopped out during the briefing. But if we do, that's okay. We'll reset. So I'm just kind of going by these mechanics here that I was talking about earlier, those Fabio mechanics. Let me make sure I didn't. I usually go through this via checklist. So let me make sure I didn't make any errors there. No trading errors. Beautiful. All right, like I said, we'll let it work. I expect a little bit of drawdown here, just because of the size of that 10-minute candle. So we will see what happens. I got to change the screen back. I was just showing you something that was on the other screen. So here, primary monitor. What I was pointing out was this routine day trading document, which is in the folder in the link in this video here, and I'm going to link it on the sheet at the end. So just moving on from that, let's get back to briefing related activities, and that means we're going to look at volatility real quick. Let's see if it's picking up at all. I don't expect too much going on here. Yeah, you can see it's just, I'm trying to draw any trend line, any support, trying to find, obviously these are related to quote unquote supports if you don't believe charting volatility is a chart crime, but you can just see we're just kind of still in consolidation mode, consolidation week. The nice thing I would say if you're a bear was this morning's little rally. We did not make a lower low in volatility. In fact, we actually made a higher low. So nice little potential bearish divergence there if you're really reaching to find that bear case, which I am a little bit at this point, just so we get a little something interesting. So that little divergence there is interesting to look at. And that's kind of that macro look. So it just really goes down to, I think the most important thing is what goes on at this trend line here. This is on SPY. You can draw it on ES. How does this battle around that trend line go? If we do pop it, and especially, man, if we get that continuation today, that's a really, really bullish sign. And so we'll see what happens here. Just one more area of interest is this outer band here. This is the fourth standard deviation of VWAP. So kind of what I use to tell when we are overbought, like really overbought. is right there. So kind of watch what happens this zone. I think it's a really nice vantage point and, like I said, a good spot to look for these scalp shorts. So moving on from macro, let's jump into the final chart, which is our TPO. And really, for me, what is the most interesting thing that I'm looking at in this TPO? I'm kind of looking at it holistically. Um, Less for the MGI, like you can see every one of those levels, every one of these white highlighted on the side here is one of those major levels. But on top of that, where it's not highlighted are those singles, are the poor lows. There's that poor high above. This is just a junky looking TPO, and usually what happens with these types of junky looking TPOs is they get cleaned up. So there is a little more cleanup on the upside as we continue higher. Yet immediately to the downside here, you're just seeing just stacks of singles, stacks of ugliness, untested emotional trading. Um, which can turn into fuel for the other side. So that's really the major takeaway for TPO. Again, you can see all these various MGI. I think when you're in this type of trading mode where we're just breaking out, levels become a little difficult. That's why I rely on that volume profile. But levels themselves remain a little difficult to trade around just because A, you have that high likelihood of rug pull, and B, you also have that super emotional buying side going on, which can kind of bias, I think, or not bias, make the tape a little more random, we'll say. So that's all I have to say about that. And that is all I have to say about all the price action today for this lovely routine briefing. Let's go back to the execution chart. I'm going to watch this carefully. This is kind of what I was talking about here. What's going to happen around this POC here? And so when price penetrates this box here, I do have a target. I will take profits at that POC of the larger profile. Yet if we do start to reverse, I'll probably go ahead and take profits there and one off on that short, just because. Keep in mind, extremely emotional market right now. Very, very bullish. All pullbacks until we get below really that 4,000 area again. You got to assume that there's going to be dip buyers, and so careful and uh, responsible trading, we'll say. So the newsletter will be out by 11. I will be on Twitch at noon for any electronic music fans in here. You got a little taste of that with our briefing pre-music. I'm going to start doing that as well. Those are not me. Those are sets that I am stealing from YouTube. So if you're a normal listener to the Twitch and you're like, wow, Garrett, you're much better before 12 p.m. Eastern, that is why. And yeah, so please feel free to hit me up on either of those platforms, so the newsletter or Twitch, or as well as Twitter at Routine Trader. I would appreciate any engagement in the comment section of this video too. So finally, if you did enjoy today's content, please give the video a like to help with YouTube's algorithm. And as we end this video with a possible profit take, I want to thank you, Dig Doug, for hanging out. I want to thank you, Ernie, for liking it. Anybody else? I'm open to questions and clarifications and stuff. So I know it can be like drinking from a fire hose, but um, we like to look for simplicity, and uh, hopefully we'll get a nice simple day. So I'm about 2 points away myself from locking in that simple day, and we'll see what happens there. Like I said, as we penetrate this POC here, I may move that profit up just a little bit um, to probably like 40 area. In fact, I'm gonna go ahead and do that. No need to be a piglet, as they say. We'll do that for the retest of the low. Take our profits, 6.5 points. That is better than 1/2 N, and move the rest to break even and see what happens for the rest of the day. So thanks for hanging out. Hopefully you'll be back tomorrow, and stay classy until then.